The story begins with Kath, a budding young fighter. While she's practicing, a woman named Madam M approaches her. Madam M offers Kath an opportunity she finds hard to resist, specialized training to enhance her fighting skills, and a promise of good money once she becomes a top fighter. Intrigued by this prospect, Kath agrees. They journey to a secluded island via helicopter. Upon landing, Kath realizes she's not the only child brought here. The island is populated with several other young fighters. Among them, she becomes friends with 2 others. However, the atmosphere is tense. One day, driven by homesickness, one of her new friends decides to leave. Surprisingly, Madam M gives permission. Yet, as the kids attempt to board the helicopter, trouble brews. A guard responsible for ensuring no one leaves shoots warning shots to prevent their escape. It becomes clear that departing from the island isn't as straightforward as it seems. A stern trainer steps forward, cautioning them about the high security of the island. He mentions cameras everywhere and guards always on the lookout. Meanwhile, in a distant city, a federal agent named Jack delves deep into investigations about missing children. He finds a peculiar pattern. All the missing children excel in martial arts. He wonders if there's a connection and sets out to find the answers. The next day on the island, intensive training kicked off. Kath, Charlene, Jing, and the other kids were being molded into skilled assassins. Their routine was grueling. Rigorous physical workouts every day with no breaks or days off. As days turned to nights, a bond formed between Kath and Charlene. They became inseparable, promising to always have each other's backs. This friendship endured, and even a decade later, their bond remained unshaken. Their training just as intense. Madam M, the overseer of this brutal program, made periodic visits to the island. Under her guidance, the kids didn't just learn fighting techniques. They were taught advanced technology skills and a lethal assassination method targeting the spine. But it wasn't all about combat. The girls were also trained in grace and elegance, preparing them to blend into any setting seamlessly. Over the years, Kath and Charlie matured into young women, their bond as strong as ever. After their daily training sessions, they'd sit and discuss the day's events. Jing, however, was different. She preferred solitude, often training alone, driven by a burning ambition. Before her life on the island, she was a celebrated martial artist, and she aimed to be the best among the trainees on the island. Then came an unexpected day when Madam M announced a test. The trainees had to face off against a pre-selected squad. This was a real combat scenario. When they fought, Madam M cheered them on. The ordeal took a toll, especially on Charlene. That night, in the bathroom, she confided in Kath about the horror of taking a life for the first time. Kath, understanding the weight of their responsibilities, comforted her friend, urging her to remain resilient. The scene shifts to a quiet night where the trainees, after a tiring session, are unwinding and reflecting on the day's learnings. The stillness is abruptly disrupted when Madam M barges in, guns blazing. She sets an ominous task before them. Each woman must kill one of their comrades and present the body in the open field. From the original group, only 11 women remain, among whom are Kath, Charlene, and Jing. Madam M announces a chilling competition for the next night, hinting that one among them will be singled out. Charlene confides in Kath, urging her not to hesitate if they face each other in battle. The dreaded day arrives. At the battleground, Madam M lays out the contest structure. The first 2 fighters will battle, and the winner will face off against the third and fourth, and so on. This ladder match system ensures only the strongest will emerge at the top. The women hastily pick numbers to determine their order. Kath draws the first spot, signaling she'll be the first to fight. In a silent moment, she reassures Charlene, who is visibly shaken. In a surprising turn of events, Charlene manages to switch numbers with Kath, placing herself in the initial combat position. The battles are fierce. Charlene triumphs over her second opponent, then overcomes the third and fourth challengers. The odds increase with her next bout against 3 fighters, yet she manages to stand her ground. Now in the final showdown, she's up against 4 formidable opponents. However, Kath steps in, supporting Charlene against 3 of them. The tide seems to shift when one opponent suggests teaming up with Jing. But just as the tension peaks, Madam M halts the match. She declares them champions, the best of her trainees, and worthy graduates of her rigorous program. The narrative takes a darker turn as the night sets in. Madam M invites the champions for a celebratory dinner. As they toast to their future, Little do they know that their drinks are spiked with tranquilizers. As they begin to feel drowsy, three men walk in. Madame M, always looking for ways to harden her assassins, instructs the men to get intimate with the girls. Her twisted logic suggests that this experience will remove any hesitations they might have in their forthcoming missions. Fast forward 2 years, and these girls have transformed into the world's most dangerous assassins. They are spread globally, assuming different identities and undertaking covert missions. We then see Charlene expertly executing a mission to eliminate a gangster boss. She employs a lethal combination of beauty and skill, luring him with her allure before making her deadly move. Soon after this, Detective Jack examines the crime scene. One of his informants hints at a woman named Diana being present during the crime. As the dots connect, Jack realizes that Diana is none other than Charlene, one of the kids who went missing a decade ago. Intent on uncovering more, Jack travels to Hong Kong to meet Charlene's parents. There, he finds her mother deep in prayer, hoping for her daughter's safety. He informs her of Charlene's suspected involvement in the gangster's death. Jack further shares his suspicions. Charlene might be planning another assassination, this time targeting an official attending a city festival. The stakes have never been higher. A week later, we find ourselves amidst the hustle and bustle of a vibrant festival where an official is in attendance. The atmosphere is celebratory, but tension underlies the festivities. Detective Jack and Charlene's mother are among the crowd, observing the event. Suddenly, Charlene emerges from the shadows, her intention clear as she aims her weapon at the official. As she takes her shot, Charlene's and her mother's eyes lock for a brief, intense moment. The festival's cheerful ambience erupts into chaos. As Charlene makes her escape, Jack is hot on her heels. The chase leads them into an ice truck where they're trapped, a thick sheet of cold air separating them from the world outside. Inside the truck, the atmosphere is tense. Jack tries to reason with Charlene, telling her that his goal is to apprehend Madame M and put an end to her criminal operations. He believes Charlene can help him in his quest, but Charlene, conflicted and defensive, lashes out. Later that night, the scene shifts to the exterior of Charlene's home. Jack is stationed outside, keeping a watchful eye. Inside, Charlene's mother hears a noise by the window. Assuming it's her daughter, she approaches, only to be viciously attacked. In a shocking twist, it's not Charlene at the window but Jing, sent by Madame M with orders to kill Charlene's mother. Just in the nick of time, Charlene arrives, intervening and overpowering Jing. In the aftermath of this violent confrontation, Jack rushes Charlene's injured mother to the hospital. The following day, Charlene and Kath find themselves in deep contemplation, processing recent events. Out of nowhere, Madame M approaches them with an offer Charlene can't refuse. In exchange for her mother's safety, Madame M wants Charlene to carry out one final mission, which involves eliminating a target named Kenji. And for this crucial assignment, she wants Charlene and Kath to team up. However, upon reaching the designated location, they quickly realize they've walked into a trap. Instead of finding Kenji, they're confronted with the lifeless body of Madame M, displayed on the screen before being suddenly hurled towards them. This dramatic twist reveals a new adversary, Ryuichi, who has a personal vendetta against Madame M due to her involvement in the death of his kin. In the ensuing chaos, Ryuichi manages to incapacitate Charlene using a tranquilizer gun. But the ever-resourceful Charlene finds a way out by diving into a passing garbage truck. Sadly, Kath isn't as lucky and gets captured by the vengeful Ryuichi. Later that night, with her safety uncertain and Kath's life hanging in the balance, Charlene reaches out to Jack. She reveals her plan to rescue Kath the next day and implores Jack to look after her mother, hinting at the real possibility that she might not make it back. The scene unfolds in a dimly lit, ominous location where Kath is trapped in an armored glass box, a cruel contraption set up by Ryuichi. Charlene, despite her skills and determination, finds herself helpless to save her friend. To her horror, she watches as Kath meets a tragic end at the hands of Ryuichi. But Ryuichi isn't done. Driven by his twisted sense of satisfaction, he challenges Charlene to a duel, believing he can defeat her as he did Kath. The two engage in a fierce battle, a dance of moves and counter-moves, where every second counts. Despite the odds and the emotional weight of losing Kath, Charlene's training, resilience, and determination come to the fore. After a gripping fight, she manages to overpower Ryuichi, bringing an end to his reign of terror. With Ryuichi defeated and her ties to the world of contract killing severed, Charlene decides to leave that life behind. She embarks on a journey to find peace and redemption, seeking a fresh start and a chance at a normal life, free from the shadows of her past. The moral of the story is if you're planning a career change, avoid the assassin business. Garbage trucks and ice trucks are just the tip of the icy, smelly iceberg.